In the previous video, I talked about menopause in women, and I mentioned something about menopause in men, which I know sounds funny. So in this video, I want to talk about at what age do men lose interest in sex. Yes, because sex with men is a very serious thing. If you talk about sex in men, then you are mentioning something sensitive in men. So at what age do men usually lose interest of having sex? So I want to say that the degree of this declined, and it varies. So most men loses interest in having sex when they get into 60s, between 60s to 70s. It varies according to each and every person. So but when but sometimes loss of a sex drive is related to underlying condition. We have to know that when you lose interest, when a man loses interest when a man loses interest in having sex before the age of 60 to 70, before the age between 60 to 70, then you have to know there is maybe an underlying condition that is contributing to that. So you have to know that it is also natural for men to notice a gradual decrease in sex drive or libido as they age. So I've said that the degree of this decline varies. Someone might feel or might experience the reduction of libido at the age of maybe 65, someone 67, someone when they just hit 60. It's vary, but most men maintain at least some amount of sexual interest in their 70, in their 50s. They can still maintain some amount of sexual interest, but when they hit 70, when they hit 60, sex drive decrease. And also we have I was saying that you have to know sometimes the culprit is a disease in male sex, hormones due to maybe endocrine disorder. In other cases, loss of a sex drive may be due to medication side effect. If you are concerned about loss of sex drive, especially if the loss of happened suddenly, I would advise you talk to your doctor so you can identify the cause, especially if before you reach the age of 60. Talk to your doctor so that you know the cause, so that most of the causes can be treated. Your doctor will likely to discuss your detailed medical history, and also they do physical exam and request maybe a lab test to help them in determining the cause of that loss of sex drive. So after identifying what is the cause, the loss of sex drive, your doctor can suggest treatment option. So for example, if the loss of sex drive is related to stress or depression, seeing a counselor or sometimes increasing the combination of antidepressant medication might help. Sometimes medical conditions such as obstructed sleep apnea can cause unusual loss of testosterone hormone level. So treating the sleep apnea will also help in reversing the cause or reversing the drive. I think you feel what I'm saying. So if the cause is also medical conditions, like maybe what ADM or diabetes, then diabetes can be controlled. Yeah, diabetes can be controlled, and then you become at least having some amount of interest in sex, in sex, whichever the case. Also, you have to know that alcoholism can contribute. Yeah, alcoholism can contribute. So if you are someone who usually take a lot of alcohol, then you should stop it immediately, because alcohol interferes with everything in our body. They make the blood vessel, they wear out the blood vessels that transport blood to the penis, and you find that this person will not erect. Yes, if you are alcoholism, sometimes you will suffer from erectile dysfunctions. So if you and this and at the same time, it will reduce sex drive. So if you are an alcoholism person, or if you're taking a lot of alcohol, please kindly stop, because you will suffer from loss of interest in sex when you're still young. Yeah. So I think that is what I wanted to say about age with sex, age and sex in men, because men usually brag that they don't get old, they don't reach menopause, they can still reproduce even when they are in their 80s. Yes, they can ejaculate, and ejaculation, some of them ejaculate small amount of sperms that cannot fertilize an ovum. Sometimes, I'm just saying sometimes. And when you are aging, loss of interest in sex will set in, whether you like it or not, because ladies usually suffer this loss of interest in sex when they are still when they just hit 50, when they're just ladies or women, when they hit 50s is when they start. If it is not caused by any medical condition, then when they just hit 50s is when they can experience loss of interest. But men, until they are 60s, between 60 to 70 is when they will experience that. So we are the same. Yeah, don't brag about you can reproduce even when you are in your 80s. Yeah, don't brag, because when you hit 60, even sex you will not be able to do sex, because there are so many conditions that can set in when you start getting old. Yes, so that is that. Any question in the comment section, I will answer.